All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're unpacking a really powerful business idea: how to take all that operational chaos you might be feeling and turn it into a genuine competitive edge. We're talking about building a culture of continuous improvement, where getting better isn't some special project. It's just, well, it's just the way you do things.
So here's the journey we're going on. First, we'll tackle the big problem, this constant race against stagnation. Then we'll get into the good stuff, your new superpower, which is data. After that, we'll cover the how-to of automation, talk about the crucial mindset you need, and finally, look at the awesome payoff waiting for you at the end.
You know, in today's world, standing still is basically the same as going backwards. Speed and agility aren't just trendy buzzwords anymore. They're literally survival skills. The companies that are winning are the ones that can change their own internal game just as fast as the market changes around them. And that brings up a really critical question we have to ask ourselves, right? Is our organization actually built for this new reality? Or do we have these hidden anchors, these little inefficiencies that we've just learned to live with, that are secretly dragging us down and making it impossible to keep up?
And these are the real costs, and they're usually invisible until things get really bad. It all starts with these tiny, compounding inefficiencies that just make everything slower and more expensive. That, in turn, leads to employee burnout because your best people are fighting broken systems all day. And with no clear visibility, leaders are just making decisions in the dark. But maybe the biggest cost of all those missed opportunities for growth, because every ounce of energy is being spent just trying to keep the lights on.
So, how do you actually fight back against this slide into stagnation? Well, the answer isn't just to work harder. It's about working smarter. And that whole journey begins when you unlock a new superpower that's probably already hiding inside your company: your data.
I absolutely love this quote because it completely changes how you think about data. It's not just boring numbers on a spreadsheet. It's a story. It's the tool that makes all those invisible problems visible. It literally shows you, like a spotlight, exactly where work is getting stuck, where time is being wasted, and where the biggest opportunities for improvement are hiding in plain sight.
The big shift here is moving from guesswork to actual evidence, and that's where process metrics come in. So instead of a manager feeling like the proposal process is slow, they can see that the average approval time is a whopping 48 hours. Instead of just hoping a workflow is doing its job, you can track its completion rate. This data becomes your diagnostic tool for checking the health of your entire operation. Okay, so once your data has shown you where the problems are, automation gives you the engine to actually fix them, and to fix them at scale. This is how you turn those insights into real action. Look, at its heart, automation is pretty simple. It's all about finding those repetitive, soul-crushing tasks that are bogging down your talented people. You know, things like manual data entry, sending the same reminder emails over and over, and just letting technology handle it. This frees up your team's brain power for the stuff they were actually hired to do: strategy, creativity, and solving real problems. And here's how it works, broken down really simply. Every automated workflow has three basic parts. You've got a trigger that kicks the whole thing off. Say a new customer fills out a form. Then you have conditions, which are kind of like the brains of the operation, the if-then logic. So if an invoice is over $5,000, then send it to the head of finance. And finally, you have the outcomes, which are the actions that happen, like sending that notification or updating a project status. Let's make this real for a second. For your sales team, this could mean instantly assigning a new lead to the right person and scheduling a follow-up, so nothing ever falls through the cracks. In HR, imagine automating the dozens of little tasks for a new hire, setting up their accounts, scheduling intro meetings. And for finance, it's that smart logic we just talked about, automatically routing invoices. Honestly, the possibilities are endless here. Now, this next part is absolutely critical. You can have the best data in the world and the slickest automation, but none of it, and I mean none of it, matters without the right culture. Technology is just a tool. The real transformation comes from the people. It comes from the mindset. And this right here really says it all. It's about moving away from what is probably the most dangerous phrase in business: "This is how we've always done it," and moving towards one of the most powerful: "How can we do this better?" It's a huge shift from being complacent to being endlessly curious. So, how do you actually build this culture? Well, first, you empower everyone to speak up, especially the people on the front lines who know the processes inside and out. Second, you have to make it safe to experiment, to try a new workflow and see what happens, without anyone being afraid to fail. And third, you create a sense of ownership, so improvement isn't some top-down command, but a shared mission that everyone is a part of. So, when you bring it all together, the data, the automation, and that optimizer's mindset, you don't just get a slightly more efficient company. You get a truly future-ready organization. Let's talk about that payoff.
The benefits are just huge. You get operational agility, which is just a fancy way of saying you can pivot on a dime when the market changes. That builds resilience. Your competitive advantage becomes sustainable because you're always getting better. And there's this amazing side effect. Your employees are happier because they're not fighting with broken tools, and your customers are happier because they get better, faster service.
And hey, this isn't just some abstract theory. There was a case study where a company streamlined its HR onboarding using these exact principles. The result? They decreased the time it took for a new employee to become fully productive by a massive 30%. Think about that. That is a real, tangible, bottom-line result. So, we'll end with this one thought. The winners of tomorrow, they're not necessarily going to be the biggest or the oldest companies. They're going to be the ones that can learn and improve the fastest. So the real question for all of us is, are you building a business that's designed to be one of them?